Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be introducing you guys to the ball python today. Give you some tips on things that I've experienced with ball pythons and just give you guys some useful information about this snake. I also really want to excuse the lighting because it is really gloomy out, so it is quite dark in here. So the ball python, in different parts of the world, they're also called the royal pythons. They're basically called the ball python because they just roll up like a ball once they get scared, and that's about all they do. They even chill rolled up most of the time. They just like being a ball. From my experience, the ball python is one of the easiest and calmest snakes you can have as a beginner. Really? Are we really going to do this? Okay, so the sun just forced me to move a bit and now it is like really shining in my face and I think it's going to look awful too, but okay, so I'll have to work with the sun and just press record whenever she's gone and then pause when she's back. Anyways, yeah, it is definitely the calmest snake I own. I just think it's perfect for a beginner because you can handle it a lot and kind of get used to owning a snake and handling a snake without having to be scared. Of course, there is ball pythons that will have an attitude and that their personality will just be a little bit more snappy, but usually they're really calm snakes. Also, a cool thing about ball pythons is that there is so many different color variations, so there can be thousands of morphs out there, and it's just ridiculous. It's so fun to look through all of them and decide which one you want to get for yourself. And every year there's new ones coming from breeders all over the world that just have new colors coming out, and it's really exciting, and I just want so many different ones and I just can't afford them because they're so new, and the exciting ones are just the new ones, and that's just not affordable. That's another story, that ball python prices range from just a couple bucks, like $10 to $20, to thousands of dollars depending on the color or pattern that you're getting yourself. And I'm just gonna show my ball python morphs that I own. I have 9, and I'm gonna put the prices on the screen so you guys have an idea on the difference of the color morphs, like the prices, how they differ. The prices that I'm putting here are just what I remember paying for my snakes, so it might not be completely correct or a bit outdated because I bought the snakes a year, 2 years ago. So it's possible that the prices at this point are a bit different, but that's just what I remember paying, and you will still see the huge difference in the prices between these color variations that I own. But we'll get back to that later when I'll be showing the snakes. For now, we'll just continue with some of the facts about the ball python. Now, to ball python's size, they don't get really large, but they get kind of voluptuous or really thick. The females can reach around 3 to 5 feet. Normally, of course, it all differs. There might be even bigger ones, smaller ones. But the normal average adult female will reach about 3 to 5 feet, which isn't that long for a snake, but they get really thick in volume. Now for the males, they just reach about 2 to 3 feet. Obviously, there's also differences. They can get larger, but that's just an average. Now, a normal ball python hatchling is about 10 inches. I have a really young ball python here. So here I have a Killer Blast. She is about 2 months old only. So you can see, obviously she's already put on quite a bit of size from when she was a hatchling, but this is definitely the smallest ball python that I have. And if you do care for your ball python really well, they can reach ages between 20 and 30 years old. So it is a commitment for quite a few years, so really think about it before you get yourself a ball python. Housing for these snakes is super simple, as they really don't need much. For them, it's really enough if they have a heat source, a hide, and a water bowl. Breeders will usually just keep them in racks, which oftentimes I personally find way too small. I have a rack too, but the dimensions are just way larger than most breeders have them. You should at least offer your ball python a 2 by 3 feet enclosure for it to be comfortable. Obviously you can decorate it however you'd like to, and you can put as many hides you want to. There's literally, you can put as much as you want to, but you really should put as little as 1 hide and 1 water bowl, plus of course the heat source. Of course, a young hatchling like the little one you just saw a second ago don't need a 2 by 3 feet enclosure. A smaller enclosure will do just fine. Especially because young snakes can become quite frightened if you offer them too much space. So I personally prefer using aspen as a bedding for my snakes, which is basically just like wood shavings, but then a bit different so they are more optimal for reptile keeping. Also, I prefer using a heat mat instead of a lamp for ball pythons, as they like the belly heat and not exactly the heat coming from above. Of course, I always recommend using an extra light source if you are using a heat mat, just for the natural day to night cycle of the animal. Now, if you do decide to use a heat lamp instead of a heat mat, make sure you put a protection basket thing. I don't know what they're called exactly, but it's just like a little basket that you put over the light bulb so your snake can't burn herself if she accidentally touches it. What is also important is that you make sure that one side of the enclosure is warmer than the other side, so you have a heat gradient, so your snake doesn't have to constantly be in the same temperature. If she would like to cool off or heat herself up, she can decide which side of the enclosure she would like to be. On the warm side of the enclosure, you do want temperatures between 90 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which I personally just think is much easier to achieve with a heat mat. Just putting it under about 25% of the enclosure on one side, it'll heat up that part pretty well, and then the rest of the enclosure gradually cools down. The ambient temperature of the enclosure should, however, not drop below 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Try to keep the humidity about 50 to 60%. I just usually spray every 3 days, and always obviously offer them a water bowl. Now for feeding, you just want to make sure the prey item is not bigger than the thickest part of your snake. So for a hatchling, it'll probably be adult mice, maybe even sub-adult mice, but you will see that when you see the snake for sure. And for adult ball pythons, it will obviously be medium to large rats. After you fed your ball python, which is probably going to be hard for first-time keepers, better not touch your ball python for 36 to 48 hours after feeding, as they are still digesting, and if they get scared by you touching them, they are likely to regurgitate their food as a defense mechanism. Regurgitating the food is really harmful to the snake, as stomach acids just come up of their stomach, and it's really harmful for them. And it is also obviously really energy consuming, having to gag up a huge prey item that you had just gotten down. It is also just pretty gross and nothing I would wish on anybody. The smell, no, just let's not talk about it. Please just don't handle your ball python, or it's actually the same with any snake, 36 to 48 hours after feeding. Now another thing that ball pythons like to do is they like to quit eating. As weird as it sounds. Especially in the winter month, they oftentimes like to take a pretty long eating break. In that case, you shouldn't get worried unless the snake is really losing a lot of weight, but normally they don't really lose any weight because they know when to take a feeding break. Just try and keep offering the snake that refuses to eat a prey item every 2 weeks until it starts eating again. You can try different things like chicks or mice, rats, whatever you want to try basically, what the snake can eat. Maybe she just wants something else, or she or he will start eating again after a couple weeks or even a month. A healthy adult ball python can easily go almost a year without food if she decides to. But if it takes longer than 2 or 3 months, I would anyway suggest maybe going to the vet to just be sure that there's nothing wrong. So here I have my girl who hasn't been eating since December. I don't know why, but she's just decided to take a pretty long feeding or eating break. But as you can see, she's still really thick and healthy looking. And she has eaten one mouse last month, I think. But after that, she didn't want any more. So I'll just give her some more time, and I keep trying to feed her. This is a pinstripe, by the way. She is hatched for albino. Okay, back to the feeding. Basically, I feed my young ball pythons every 5 to 7 days so they can grow a bit quicker. And then once they're adult, I go to about 10 days, feeding every 10 days. And now breeding is a whole different topic that I won't be getting into in this video. But if you guys would like it, I will definitely make a complete video on breeding. Even though I'm not really experienced yet, I don't have any first-hand experience yet. But I have a lot of friends that are really good breeders, and I have a lot of information that I could give out to you guys too. Now for the other color variations that I haven't shown yet, I will show right now and insert the prices right here, so you guys get an idea about ball pythons and their price. But before we get into that, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button if you liked the video. And please let me know in the comments if I forgot any important information on ball pythons. So here we have the color variation that is called Lesser. It is one of the more basic color variations, nothing fancy to it, but it is actually one of my favorites. He looks really, really good. This one is called Mojave. It's one of the darker color mutations. So I can't show you guys my spider because he is right now getting off his shed. So I'll put in a clip from my previous video right now. This morph is called Pastel. It's also one of the more basic morphs that's been around for really long. The sun is coming back, but I'm just gonna push through. This one is called Hidden Gene Woma Mojave Granite. This color variation is called a Fire, plus he is fresh out of shed, so he should be looking awesome. So in here for my all-time favorite with just some minor shedding problems that we'll get rid of today is a Bumblebee Clown. Right, so I had to move a bit to do my outro because it was getting ridiculously bright over there. But I just want to say overall, ball pythons are the best beginner snakes that I can imagine for pretty much anybody unless you look for something smaller. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed watching this video. And I hope I see you here again soon, guys.